Okay. What did he say?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We will get started so you can get out on time. Keep your seats for just a minute or two until we get ready. This is a good time to silence your telephone so it won't go off during the program. I think you've had a chance to say hello to your neighbors, and that's part of Kiwanis, is the camaraderie and the fellowship that we have with each other, so please enjoy that. It's a great day to be Kiwanis, and it's a great day for you to be here, and the kids need Kiwanis, and we need you. Thank you for being with us. Let's start with our defining statement. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world, one child and one community at a time. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clay, do you have a song for us?
I certainly do. You'll need your book. You'll need your book. Yes, you will. No, you won't. I know that. Page 37. Bottom of the page. I was thinking the other day about maybe taking a vacation up into the mountains. And we have Rocky Top feeding us today. So why don't we sing On Top of Old Smoky?
All righty.
And on top of Old Smoky, all covered with snow, I lost my true lover, according to slow. According to pleasure, according to grief, a hearted lover is worse than a thief.
Round of applause. Maybe we ought to practice that one once more, but it was good. Thank you so much for it. I'm going to call on L. Poole for our invocation.
L, just keep it. You can use it next week. Let us pray. Lord, thank you for allowing us to be together today with fellowship in this wonderful organization, the purpose of which is to serve others. At this time of year when there is renewal in the earth with flowers and trees blooming, please nourish our souls as well as allow us to serve mankind and womankind, especially the young people of our community. We further ask that we constantly be reminded that all of us have much more in common than we do differences, and that you allow us to possess the energy to make our world a better and more peaceful place. We further ask that you grant wisdom to those persons who lead us and protect the men and women in law enforcement and the armed services who protect our freedom both here and abroad. And then I traditionally do a Hebrew prayer, and it's going to be a short one. This prayer is over 2,000 years old, and it is the prayer that Jewish folks, and it comes from the Talmud, and it's a prayer that the Jewish folks say before meals. And again, as I've said before, it's the same prayer that Jesus said before he ate. During that period of time, we prayed in Hebrew but spoke Aramaic. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamosi lechem min ha'aretz. Blessed are you, the Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. In an interesting note, he talks about bread from the earth. God creates the bread, but relies on us to make use of it and put our food together. So the Lord produces that, but wants us to do good with it. And I say amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We'll get that straightened out next week. Yeah, that's it. I appreciate the confidence that you showing me. Yes, I sure do. Thank you. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the meal today. This is the second time for Rocky Top Caterers. They've done a bar both times. This was a hamburger bar today, but wow, I was putting some bacon on my burger, and somebody said, "Don't you have a heart condition?" And I said, "Well, I don't. We'll see how bad it is after I eat this." And I noticed other people doing the same thing, so I hope you enjoyed that. We've had a number of weeks with different caterers. Charlie Sawyer and Jason Tyson have worked tirelessly to get us a good group of caterers in. Let's give both of them a round of applause. Thank you. We've had Catering Works for 2 weeks. We had Joni Collier, a personal chef, for 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks with Chelsea Cafe, and now we've had 2 weeks with Rocky Top. And next week, we will have at least 1 week with Greg Hatem's group from downtown. So once that is over, the committee's going to get back together, and we'll let you sample some of the finalists. We may have 3 or 4 more meals. And someone just suggested to me a while ago, said, why don't we just continue this forever? It's really some variety each week. And we will talk to folks about doing that. That is a possibility, that we'll not have just one caterer, but we'll have several. So let me know what you think about that. And again, I'm hearing what you're saying each time. There are cards on the table. Please fill out those cards sincerely, saying what you think about the meal today. We read those, we put them together. We're going to use those cards as really our right hand in deciding who the caterer will be. So please fill that out. In terms of membership welfare, Jim Walbrink is here with us today. Jim, we're glad to see you. And Jim is going in next week to have a pacemaker installed. And we wish you the best, and we'll be thinking about you. Are there any other membership welfare items? Gary?
That's right. Most people don't want to hear me anyway. I have an update after last Friday, but after the Kiwanis, I went to see Charlie Wheelers. And I was sort of shocked when I got there, because he had told me before that they may have to amputate his foot. But they, in fact, did amputate all of his toes. And he has a very constricted veins down there that just can't get blood. So it was either do that or take his whole foot 3 months from now. So, but he was in good spirits. He really was. So just want to give you a great.
Well, we hope all of you will remember that member and visit him, give him phone calls. Are there any other announcements or any other membership welfare items? If not, let's move on. We have some birthdays showing on our screen. You can see who's going to have birthdays this week and coming up in the following week. Please wish them happy birthday. I think that's next week or so, right? Okay. I quit counting them 2 or 3 years ago. Our golf tournament is coming up on May 2nd. Andy Wood is chairman of that. Andy has left some flyers on the table over there. Be thinking about who you'd like to put together as a foursome. This is a money-making project for us. This is a fundraiser for our club. Please participate in it. May the 2nd at the new Golf Club. Our Change the Future Fund is over there. It's in the glass jar. Please put loose change from your pocket in there. It continues to grow. And March is Diaper Drive Month. I just had a report that our chairman's garage is filling up with diapers that have been delivered there. I know we have over $500 already in the basket for today. And it's important that we raise as much money as we can for the diaper train. This is a once-a-year project. It's always in the month of March. And at the end of each table, there's a bowl. At the person at the end of the table will please take that bowl and pass it down. Any contributions you want to make to the diaper train will be appreciated. They take cash or check made to the diaper train. I might remind you that the diaper committee for the month is Dr. Andrew Perry, Frank Madden, and Randy Hartley. So we appreciate what you all are doing. And yeah, okay. Okay, if there's no other business to be brought before the group, let's get ahead with our speaker. Go ahead with our speaker. Today is Patrice Roesler, and I'm going to call on Dave, her husband, to do the introductions.
I'm going to save 5 minutes from the meeting by not navigating the steps. So I'm going to make my introduction here. I'm pleased to announce our speaker today, a person who I've known for many years. Patrice, after graduating from college, joined NASA at the Research Triangle Park. And then she moved on to the North Carolina Department of Transportation and edited many of their publications. In 1975, she joined the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. And for the next 42 years, she was engaged in every service delivery that the counties provide to their citizens, from employment to labor, social services, mental health, public health, criminal justice, and structuring of the courts, sentence structuring, child welfare and enforcement, aging services, substance abuse, departmental disabilities, and the environment and annexation. So with nothing else to do, also Patrice set up within the association 2 departments, the Education and Conference Department in the association, and expanded their outreach services program. So with nothing else to do, in December 2017, she decided to retire as the Director of Intergovernmental Relations and Deputy Director of the Association of County Commissioners. Well, retirement to Patrice was not sitting around a pool with a martini at her side, although I'm sure that entered her mind a few times. In December of 2018, she joined the School of Government at the UNC Chapel Hill. She is their manager of elected official programming and governance. And under Patrice's direction, they've expanded the leadership programs for local city and county officials to city and county school boards, to 16 tribal councils of North Carolina's American Indian tribes. And last summer, I believe for the first time, they held a leadership seminar for the freshman members of the North Carolina General Assembly. For her work with all 100 counties, Patrice has been awarded the Order of the Longleaf Pine, and she is only the 3rd member, non-elected official, to be inducted into the North Carolina County Commissioners Hall of Fame. And for the last 48 years, 3 months and 16 days, I think, she has been my motivator and companion. So my wife, Patrice Roesler.
That was great. Thank you, sweetheart. It's a pleasure to be here. It really is. I was going to start out by asking for a show of hands to see if we have any current or former elected officials in the room, and I already know the answer to that question. I have seen so many of you who have crossed my path over the years, and I understand we have some who are current members of the legislature, so this is fun. I thought that, you know, when June called me, and I want to give credit to June for having me up here, I thought it might be particularly timely because we're heading into a political season where there's a lot of campaigning going on, just come through the primary. And so I wanted to start with something that that gives me inspiration for why sometimes elected officials can benefit from training. So if you'll just give me a minute here, we're going to start a really short YouTube clip.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Starr County Republican Party Executive Committee, good evening. And thank you not only for your attendance, but for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Phil Davison, and I am seeking our party's nomination for the position of Starr County Treasurer on November 10th. In terms of my background, I am from the village of Minerva, where I'm serving my 13th year of elected service as a Minerva Council member. In terms of education, I have a bachelor's degree in sociology, a bachelor's degree in history, a master's degree in public administration, and a master's degree in communication. In terms of elections across Starr County, I have represented our party twice on the county ballot in both the primary and the general elections. When I ran for Starr County Clerk of Courts in 1996 and Starr County Commissioner in 2000, and I will not apologize for my tone tonight. I have been a Republican in times good, and I have been a Republican in times bad.
I think we've had enough. Phil Davison, Stark County, Ohio. No, he did not. But I could just thank you. My best friend Hugh is going to help me get to the PowerPoints. I could hear the instructor in my head. Be animated, move around, show some energy. And he went berserk. So I just thought we'd start with a little levity because I could not believe that. It was just amazing. So what I do is training for elected officials. And the elected officials, as David alluded to, for me, us at the School of Government, that includes city council members, mayors, county commissioners, school board members, and tribal councils. And it's 8 American Indian tribes in North Carolina, which is more than any other state east of the Mississippi. So they have their own electoral system, and we embrace their elected members as elected officials, just like our general purpose local governments. I wanted to start with just a brief discussion, let you know where my work sits. I'm at the UNC School of Government, which was created in 1931. Are any of you in the room familiar with the School of Government? Yes, okay, yes, that's nice to have friends in the room. So I am a part of a center at the School of Government called the Center for Public Leadership and Governance. In its early years, most of the faculty of the School of Government were attorneys. They're focused very much on legal instruction, and they train people who work in local government. So almost every department of city or county government send their department heads and employees through some sort of a program at the School of Government, because that's what we do. We train people how to work in the public sector. We are the largest university-based local government training, advisory, and research organization in the United States, and we serve more than 12,000 public officials each year. Our purpose, as you see on the slide, is to improve the lives of North Carolinians through public engaged scholarship is what I was trying to say, engaged scholarship, and help take that scholarship and plant it in the communities of North Carolina through their elected leaders so that it ultimately lifts the communities of North Carolina. Our values are nonpartisan, policy neutral, and responsive. So in terms of nonpartisanship, we never, as faculty and staff, we never take positions on any of the inquiries we get. That's not our role. We will interpret laws, we will help analyze laws, we will tell you to the best of our ability what the laws were intended to do, but we will not tell you what to do. Those decisions repose with the elected officials. We are policy neutral, absolute middle ground, and responsive to the inquiries that we get, which number well over 20 to 30,000 a year. People literally can pick up the phone, call us, and we advise and consult on any of the questions that they have. Some of those people may be elected officials. We also get calls from just John Q. Public. And we're a public institution. We answer any of the inquiries with the same amount of respect we do for any of our elected officials, because we are that public university. We carry out our work in 3 ways. We have 60 permanent faculty members, 113 permanent staff, and 61 adjunct instructors who help fill gaps in our expertise. Our expertise is aligned in 4 divisions. We do instruction for the judicial community through training the Superior Court, District Court, administrative officers of the court. All of those people get their training once they're elected at the School of Government under a cooperative agreement with the administrative office of the courts. We have a law and finance division, which is made up of all attorneys, and they will answer questions in any arena of public service, and you can find our faculty areas of expertise on our website. Management and leadership and public administration is where I sit. The work of the elected officials is a part of a center for public leadership and governance, which is non-lawyer faculty that work on leadership development and training. And so when I went there in 2018, we had a local elected leaders academy, which is what I do. We had that. It started out in 2008. The reason for the genesis of that program was because the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners and the North Carolina League of Municipalities, which are both really highly regarded local government organizations in North Carolina, had both done at that point strategic plans for the first time ever. And one of the things that grew out of their strategic plan was an acknowledgement that they needed training. At that time, the only thing the School of Government did for elected officials was what was called the School for New Commissioners and the School for New Municipal Council Members. That was the only thing they did. And I can remember being in the room when former County Commissioner Betty Lou Ward told Mike Smith in one of these facilitated conversations, she said, "Mike, we know how to campaign. You need to teach us how to govern." And that was sort of a threshold moment for both of the organizations to say, look at what we're teaching, because at that point, the only school we offered for local elected officials was 2 days of lawyers, no disrespect intended, of lawyers in 30-minute increments coming into the room and saying, here's what 153A or 160A says about city and county government. Nothing about how you move from campaigning to governing. And that's a big shift. So one of our underlying principles is you campaign as an individual, you govern as a board. No one person on any elected board has more power than the other. You have to work collaboratively. And so therein lies the root of what we're trying to do with the Local Elected Leaders Academy, is teach people how to take this honor that they've been given and work through others to help it improve your communities. And so when I got there in 2018, there was no underlying curriculum for the elected officials at the local level. I undertook research. That's what universities do. We did extensive research over a 2-year period to find out from the elected officials what they thought effective leadership looked like. And then the counterpoint to that was, when you see somebody as an elected official like Phil, who monumentally fails, what is it you've observed them doing that leads to that failure? And it was really interesting to find out what they thought effectiveness looked like. Effectiveness meant understanding diverse opinions, recognizing when you needed emotional control, being able to talk to people who are not like you, listening. Things that you and I think of as emotional intelligence rose really high to the top of their list. And these were not words we created for them. It was research that we did through focus groups. We did 18 focus groups all across North Carolina, and then we sent out a written survey that more than 600 of the elected officials in 2018 responded to that survey by telling us what effectiveness looks like. We weren't teaching any of those skills to the elected officials at that time. When we asked them what it meant to fail, what is it that makes you fail as an elected official? And that's not just you don't get reelected anymore. Set that aside for a minute, because it's not about being elected. It's about the trust of your community. When people lose their trust in you to represent them, what is it that has happened? And to a person, they said, it's failure to understand the limits of your authority. So circle back to where I started. Understanding the law underpins your ability to not fail, but your ability to be successful is about your behaviors and skills. It's not about something you can take out of the statutes and pour into somebody's head and all of a sudden they know everything. That's just not how it works. One of the things that I think is really important is that governing is not a single, not only do you not govern alone, you have all of these other people and entities that impact what you do, whether you are in the municipal side, the county side, the state side. All of these different areas of government affect what you do, and you have to be able to work together. And so, you know, I put the chart up here. Let me see if I've got it. So these are the skills and behaviors of effective local leadership. I don't know if you can read the slide from out there. But the percentages, let me tell you, there's not a graph, not a scale on the side to tell you what these percentages represent. The percentages show the percentage of the survey respondents who said those skills were either extremely important or very important to being an effective local leader. So if you look at the top 10, those that, well, I actually like to look at the 89% as well. The things that come out there are so much about your personality skills, the things that can be learned. I mean, these are skills that can be learned. The other thing that I thought was really important, the one there that's 89%, is engages in vision setting, and that's one of the things where you're talking about strategic planning. The respondent said not only is planning, having a vision of the future important for the elected officials, it's also important that they talk about it. So you might have some idea of where you want your community to go, the state to go, or whatever, but if you don't talk to people about it, they don't know that. So people in your communities want to know that you have a sense of future for them. And so, yeah, we did start bringing in more about strategic planning. So that's what we did. We took this research and we started building a curriculum based on these skills. Knowing, of course, that failure means you don't understand the law. So we have not pivoted and changed everything. We have added to. And now we have some 34 programs that we offer to the elected officials. We have a curriculum that's based on 4 levels of, this is not levels as you would think of in an academic setting. These are levels that have more to do with your readiness to expand beyond just understanding the law. So at the 101 level, we call this the practitioner level. We focus those classes on things about law. Do you understand the purpose of state and county government? Do you understand the charter of your municipality? Do you understand the role of the school board and the county commissioners in school funding and who has what authority? And so that's the practitioner level. You're learning how to just get grounded in what your primary responsibility is. And then we move up from there to more, if you think about it as concentric circles, the 201 level is more about moving into areas where cities and counties have to work together. And so if you think about things like opioid addiction, human trafficking, water quality, all of those things that are not a single unit's ability to solve. It takes multiple units of government and sometimes private sector to resolve them. So that's where we start introducing how you manage to work with and through others. The 301 level, what we call the mentor level, is people who are looking for personal growth and tools that lead them into collaborative leadership. Again, things like childhood poverty, food deserts, those kinds of really complex public issues. And then the advanced or ambassador level is a residential. We have only one program at that level, and it is a residential program, week-long, for people who are committed to advancing their leadership capacity beyond local government and into the state and beyond. We have, I think, 9 graduates of that program now who are members of the legislature. And so, yes, they are taking their leadership skills beyond local government and out into the communities. And that has been very gratifying for me. These are the ways we deliver our educational programs. Prior to COVID, most of what we did, admittedly, was in a classroom, either through, we have an arrangement, a collaborative arrangement with Western Carolina University out in Cullowhee. We would either take programs there or deliver them at the School of Government or somewhere around, the state. But now we have created more online offerings. One of the things we have are what I call top 10 primers, and these are 75-minute monthly lectures. We do them free of charge. You can sign on, they're over Zoom. We record them, and the recordings are turned into an online library. Anybody can go to our website. You see it circled there. There's a Learn Now link on our website where you can watch these recorded sessions, and they're about a range of topics. This is really where we try to fill in legal knowledge that are things that we can't cover in the essentials, what's now the essentials of county or municipal government. So, the state-local relationship with transportation planning, health and human services, opioid addiction, all of these things that are about laws and responsibilities. Planning and zoning is a big one. So those are the top 10 primers, and that library is there for anybody who wants to look at it. I also have this Minutes to Learn It little thing. That's like a little cartoon that it's a 3-minute video that is a caricature of some concept. Like, for example, we get a lot of questions about, I'm on this board with 3 other people who go to my church. Is it okay for me to go to church, or do I have to move to a different church? No, you don't. So we take those kinds of questions and turn them into this little cartoon. That's a 3-minute cartoon, and you can get, just an insight into some of those frequently asked questions. Elected Ed is a podcast. I'm doing those monthly. Those are interviews with faculty members who are doing important work out in the community, but the work that they're doing really affects the governing environment for the elected officials. So, for example, the first one I did was on human trafficking. The way that shows up in the community, we've done a lot of training with people who work at the local government level, but they go into businesses where trafficking can be seen. So we've been teaching them how to recognize the signs of human trafficking when they go in and inspect restaurants, when they go in and do building code inspections. All of these things that are local government roles, they find indicators of human trafficking, and they can get help for people. So the first podcast was about that, just helping the elected boards know how critical their staff is to the problem of human trafficking in North Carolina, and it's real. We did a follow-up podcast. I was fortunate to find out that we have a local elected official who is a surviving victim of human trafficking, and she agreed to be one of the podcast interviewees. It was really powerful. We have also done one on a program that's operated out of Cabarrus County, which is a collaborative treatment program for women who are pregnant and addicted. The county commissioners in Cabarrus County have been really instrumental in getting the medical community connected to the mental health treatment community, connected to the door that people actually walk in and say, I need help. And it's a powerful program, but without the elected officials being a part of that, it would not have taken off. And so the podcasts are there. And then we have a few modules that are about, they're a little bit longer. They're like 30 minutes, but you can go there and learn about the revenues that local governments have, sales tax and property tax. So you can learn that. You can learn about the role of government and the local government in economic development. There are very few of them, but they are a little bit longer. So they're narrated PowerPoints. It's a visual kind of thing. And that's basically what I do. I love every minute of it. It is very gratifying. I have had the good fortune to get connected to Sandra, who works with Braver Angels, and that leads me to say we have been taking Braver Angels to our elected officials in a couple of ways, one of which she helped us do a workshop at the request of the freshman legislators this past session. And it was really a very gratifying experience. So I'm really appreciative to Sandra and Braver Angels for taking us down that path. And I'm happy with that to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions?
Hello, Patrice. Welcome again. It's a delight to have you here. You and I have known each other a long time. Real short question. Government is a big topic, but with the School of Government being, I think, it was the first or second of its type in the country.
Yes.
What would you say has been a challenge and a success? Just something, of the work
While I've been
I've done.
there, or over the...
Your choice.
Okay, so since I've been there, I will say I am not an academic person. And so being planted in the middle of an academic institution has been a personal challenge for me. That set aside, the other challenge, honestly, is funding, because we have 34% of our budget is state appropriation. The remainder comes from donations, registration fees, dues, research grants. Those are the big buckets. And so from where I sit, having fee-based revenues to support the programs that we're doing is very challenging, because there aren't many donors who like the idea of giving money to local government elected officials training. It's just not sexy. It's not something that that attracts big donors in a way that some of the other work we do attracts. So that's a big challenge for us right now. Wayne, thank you.
If you've got another question or two, she'll be
I'll
up
be
front
here,
afterwards.
yeah.
And Patrice,
Thank
thank you for
you.
coming.
Yes,
We
sir.
present a book each week.
Oh, cool.
In
Thank
your
you.
honor to, or the week you're here, to the local library for kids.
Fantastic.
And there's a little space on the back you can, or maybe it's on the front fly leaf. If you'll sign that for us, we'll
Oh,
get it to them. And
fantastic.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
sir. It's a pleasure.
Let me just announce that the board of directors of this group will meet on Tuesday night of this week. We're working to get it on Zoom, and we'll be in touch with you. But if you're a member of our board, please make note that we will meet on Tuesday of this week at John Collier's office in North Raleigh. Next week is Greg Geppert, who is the Executive Director of Military Missions in Action. So that should be an interesting program. Thank all of you for being here today. Have a great and safe weekend. Meeting adjourned.